who's part of our group up here in the mountains, went through a very traumatic experience with the loss of her dog, and she was well known in the Bigfoot community as well. And recently she started seeing the numbers too. So she's seeing the 444s, and she's pretty amazed by it as well. So even Edith, she gets palindromes, and then what those are is numbers that can be read reverse or forward, and they're still the same number.
That is strange.
Okay. It's absolutely amazing. I don't want to stay on the subject of numbers too long, but I want to just go on a little bit further. As I mentioned, I lost my spouse in 2010 and went through it. It was pretty traumatic. We were married for 20 years, and it was cancer. And I had a friend who just happened to be a Chehalis medicine woman, Indian medicine woman. And we decided to go to the beach, so we went to Ocean Shores out in that direction, and we're just kind of putzing around up and down that side there. And so we're coming from north to Hala, and coming back towards Ocean Shores, like really close to Pacific Beach. All of a sudden, she turns around, and it's just me and her in the car in the front seat. She turns around and says, "Oh, we got a visitor. We got someone in the back of the car." And then she starts describing this person, the clothing and the boots and the different things, and then it's like all of a sudden she said, and I'm thinking to myself, no, she's describing exactly how Toby would have dressed. That was the name of my spouse. And then and I said, yeah, it's in the back seat. And I'm thinking, I still had some religious leanings on the Christianity. And I'm going like, first thought is there some demonic being or something that's in the car with me, you know? And I mean, I'm not fearful of anything. I'm just wondering. I really believe her when she said there was something back there, because the description was so uncanny. So we're getting close to Pacific Beach, so we go ahead and pull in, and we pull into the beach, and it's a pretty nice day, and the clouds are out, and so we park, and I said to her, I said, you know what, I wish it had some verification or have some proof that this is what this is and not something else. And just as I said that, I looked up the window, looked up the clouds, and I had my cell phone with me. Oh, that was on as well. And I look up the clouds, and the numbers 2213 appeared and were formed in the clouds.
Oh, wow.
I grabbed my cell phone out and took the picture. And if people go to my website, the link I just gave, they could see that in the very first picture.
Now, give the link. Give the link site again for new listeners coming on.
That's planetsasquatch.wordpress.com/ and let me make sure. You can put my glasses on, /show. So it's planetsasquatch.wordpress.com /show.
Okay.
Go to that link, and it'll be the first picture. It's a picture of clouds, and it looks like a set of two 4-digit numbers, okay, separated a little bit between the two numbers. And, it was clear when I'm seeing it, and I caught the picture, which is fairly close to what I saw, but it was a little bit more definition to it, the way it was formed. And so I'm going, well, look up there, it's 2213. I see the numbers 2213 up there. So I'm puzzled. She by the time she decided to look up there, she kind of saw something, but she couldn't see it. Okay? So I'm just blown away. And, of course, we head back to the hotel in Ocean Shores. And first thing you do, I go on, actually, I think I got on my phone, or I don't know if I got on a laptop or something, but whenever you want something, you got something you want to figure out, where do you go? You go to Google.
Oh, yeah.
So I Googled 2213. I put a space between it, and the very first search reference came up was from the Bible, Revelation 22:13. And you know what it says at that scripture?
What's it say?
I am the Alpha and I'm the Omega, the first and the last.
Now that is kind of scary.
Now that right there was Yeah, it's like words from God speaking.
That is really scary.
Yeah, well, it wasn't scary. It was just it was the beginning of a long list of things that happened from that point forward, which led into all my contact with the Bigfoots, led to my contact with the little people, led to my contact of seeing UFOs and some ET entities as well, and even some interdimensional beings.
But sounds like you were chosen because, you know, I what I can't understand, though, that 666 thing for a long time. And then
because it meant something to me at that time, and it just kind of threw it out at me, and it made me think that was telling me what my senses were, that the course that I was on was not the correct course. It was not the right course. I needed to change my spirituality. I needed to actually become more spiritual. And it coincided, the change in numbers coincided with my spirituality being readjusted to the right thinking, right mode of thinking, I think.
Okay, well, yeah. Now, you mentioned your friend there, too, has been seeing numbers.
Yes, Anita, she comes into the picture here. You know, she's sitting here, and she can't hear the other side here, but she's catching my side of the conversation, at least for the moment. Anita was a friend. I was doing meetings in Phillip, Washington, and for another group, and we had, I think it was once a month, I believe. Wasn't it once a month? Yeah, we had that on Fridays. And so she was attending the meetings because she had an association with the other persons that were part of that group. Well, at some point in time, you know, she just wanted to come up and see our area and all the activity it was having, so she decided to come on up and hang out up here, and we got to become really great friends. But while we were up here, we started having, we'd go out together in the car up to some of our areas, and we decided to course one area. We took out our lawn chairs and everything, went back in the woods by this stump, and she had the ability to feel energy. She could feel light around it and see sparkles around things like that. So, and it's something that I haven't developed myself from a psychic standpoint. I'm very empathic. But she can actually see these colors around people. She can see the lights, and she's got things, you know, different things. So I do remember one occasion where this particular stump that had a lot of energy around it, we were parked around it, and it got dark, and she said, there's a Sasquatch behind us. And I didn't doubt her. I looked back. Of course, we weren't going to be able to see anything. And then all of a sudden, I don't know who said it first. Was it you?
I think we were both kind of at the same time.
We were both at the same time felt this warming sensation like a hand being rubbed up and down our back. Both of us felt that. And you know what was so interesting about the sensation was it was like total peace, total contentment, the total absence of any kind of fear. Like everything's going to be just fine. And that lasted for several minutes. It was the most amazing experience we had out there.
Now,
and then what she could... go ahead.
Well, how long did you see the Bigfoot for?
There?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't think we saw the Bigfoot there when we didn't see him. She was able to indicate it. But after she said something, we didn't both say it. It says, you feeling some kind of sensation? Something's rubbing up and down my back. She said the same thing. Yeah, I'm feeling it too. So a lot of times when they come close or make contact, they're not seen necessarily. Now, I'm going to say one thing. I have seen them directly. There are multiple occasions where I've seen them. I've interacted with one adult before directly. And lately, I have been able to spot a few in the woods, as of late, you know. So that was an interesting experience, and it kind of led us into the next step, which we decided to go. We went to a different part. We would do other things besides just, you know, having to do with the Bigfoots and things like that. We went to a cemetery, like up at Wilkerson or Carbonado area.
Oh, yeah.
And we were spending some time at the Carbonado Cemetery because there were people that died during mining accidents, and so there was a lot of old tombstones. And she was feeling the energy. I was feeling some energy coming from the stones, too, some dear departed ones and things that were still lingering around there. Well, we decided to go back to Wilkerson, and there's a nice pizza place there, and I'm trying to plug the pizza place, but it's really great. And we, as we're going to get in the car, we're driving down there, and she says, "Oh, there." Now Anita says, "There's, there's somebody in the back of the car, I think, right?" And she says, "Yeah, there's someone back here." And then it starts communicating with her, and she's able to understand. It says she's inquiring about Paul. I says, "So who's Paul?" And I'm thinking to myself, they keep inquiring about this Paul person. And I'm saying, I don't know. I'm thinking about someone at work that I knew, so it's a stretch for me to think about this Paul character. So I'm a little puzzled by that until we get to Wilkerson. So we park the car. We go inside the pizza place. We both sit down in the booth, and I said, I'll be right back. I had to go to the restroom. So I'm walking past this bar area, and there's a number of people at the bar area. And as I come back, I sit down at the table. Then, a minute later, this gentleman walks up to me. I don't recognize him at first, but he says, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm thinking, well, pretty good. And I said, "Yeah, hey, you know me. I'm Paul." Paul, and it was somebody I knew as a musician some years ago, and I did a project with them and his girlfriend. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
How uncanny is that?
That is. Very. And, and on top of it, remembering like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was several years, but my memory's getting bad. His obviously was much better. But I'm thinking that was just too over the top. But since then we started having these kind of experiences. I can't recall a lot of them directly or anything. But I do know that me and Anita, of course, I'm just looking at our time. I want to make sure we cover enough stuff because an hour goes by so quickly. You know what I mean?
Oh, it does. Believe me, it goes real fast.
Anyway, we decided we went up to this research area called the Field of Dreams, and I'm trying to see if that coincides with the next set of pictures. Is orbs in a portal window. Well, we went up there, and we sometimes we'll go up there at this little research area, and it's called the Field of Dreams. And this is where I have seen orbs, a portal. I've seen the interactions with the Bigfoots. I have taken pictures of the little people. So this is like the interdimensional gateway of everything that you can possibly imagine happen there. And it's just not me. It's part of members of our other group. So we go up there. Me and Anita go up there. And it's the same area where the last time I was on the show, I told you about the little guy that was jumping down the creek, and we were talking about the portal that opened up at this other lake. But then they'll have to refer to the earlier podcast about that particular thing. But this was a little bit earlier. Me and Anita are sitting up there, and it's dark. And so I decided, well, let me take my camera, and I pointed straight at the sky, and I took these pictures. And I had the flash on, and what you're seeing in the pictures here is a number of orbs. This is one orb in particular that I have on the website link that I gave out, and then and a little bit of close-up of it. And then the other interesting thing was that if you look over at the one picture, it looks like a square. It's not an orb as much as it is a square window, like light. And I'm thinking, there was something up there that caused that to happen too. And my thinking is that we were dealing with something of like an electronic window of some sort, a portal window. So sometimes I think the orbs themselves are actually miniature portals. When you look through them, you actually see people looking out the other side. So it could actually be an interdimensional portable portal of sorts. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it could be. So, in other words, they're looking at you, and that does make sense. I mean,
every time most people that have orbs, they're always talking about. It looks like faces looking through them, like a portal, a porthole on a ship or some people looking out at something else. So we did that, and we sat over there, and of course, what happened then? I think we heard a sound, didn't we? There was all of a sudden it just. I had a feeling that flashing the flash on the camera wasn't a good idea, and also when we heard this crash nearby, it scared the living daylights out of us. We got out of there. Never did that again. We didn't try to. We have a no lights policy, when we go at night, and keep things at a low pace. So, the next thing that happened, we actually went back up to the same area, but we went up to a bridge, and we're going to talk about the mist. Okay, the first mist was, I couldn't see this. She